That's us back. You've just witnessed us do the match day live as West Ham have beat Leeds at home in the FA Cup third round, and we progress through to the fourth round. Matt, after watching that game, it was a bit scrappy for the majority of the game. Come near the end, though, Leeds kind of got into a bit of fifth gear and made it feel like a cup tie. Have you got the buzz back? Are you buzzing a little bit?
It was. As I said, it was a weird. Like we said, for long periods, it was a weird game. Like I said to you, it felt like a Premier League game. The way both teams approached it, but like we said, yeah, Leeds made subs at the end, and they started going for it. And then you thought, oh, now it's like a proper cup tie. It's end to end. Either team could have scored 3 or 4. And yeah, it's round into the fourth round. And more, you know what? The funny thing is, Moyes looked happy at the end. When that second goal went in, Moyes had like a big smile on his face. Like I think he wants the cup run as well.
I think, well, to be honest though, I think like when you've got injuries to the level that maybe West Ham have got, and you're in a cup competition, he's always said about consistency. It wasn't the most inspiring performance today, but you probably could say it was really down to a professional performance. We've got the job done. We've turned up. We've done what we needed to do to get into the next round. And there was no ifs or buts about it, mate. He wanted to take this game serious, and that's what you've seen with the team lineup. Let's get the team lineup for everybody in the chat. I mean, what was your? I mean, we done the preview last night, and we certainly didn't expect that, did we?
No, like I think we said we done the preview last night. We both sat there and said, I think we said, didn't we? We were like, Johnson was maybe. If not, I'd play Longjello. Rice and Souček, we were like, no. We're like, yeah, Rice might start, but Souček won't. I think we said no one, I want to say no one Lanzini and no one Antonio. Like, but Moyes is, apart from, like we said, apart from the fact that Areola is the cup goalkeeper, and that is it, so that's what he plays, that's the first team. But that is what is, out of what is available, that was the first team today. And I think we were quite surprised how strong. The thing is, I don't want to say that Moyes wouldn't take it seriously, but considering how many players Leeds have got out, and I think they lost like another 2 or 3 players during the game today, so they're really struggling. So I didn't think that Moyes would, with the 3 games in a week, but no, he went for it, and
I mean,
glad he did.
Yeah, I mean. On top of that, I mean, I'm not going to go through every single moment in the game, but I'm going to talk about kind of individual players. The Leeds lineup, though, took an absolute hammering, didn't it? And this was what they kind of ended up with. What was your thoughts? You were a bit surprised that they didn't play Rafinha?
Yeah, I thought he might have started, but then I also said if you look at the rest of the bench, I mean, I said they had Forshaw, Dallas, and Rafinha's own really starting players on the bench. So, and their lack of attacking options, lack of centre forward, I thought, and like was right, I said maybe they might wrap him up on cotton wool. And I think only because of how arguably ineffectual they were in the first half attacking, I think Bielsa had no choice but to bring one at half time.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't know, maybe if he's not fit, but he didn't do as much as I'd expect, or maybe that was because he was playing up front. Maybe he doesn't like that position.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we're going into this game, we were talking about like the magic of the FA Cup. We were trying to be up for it. I was starting to get up for it, and I think seeing the result today is really kind of given me that confidence boost about the FA Cup. And I think, I agree. I understand why we want to go for it and go on that cup run. I mean, for most of, maybe depends on how old you are in the chat. If any of you were born after 1980, then you've not been in a fortunate enough position to see West Ham win a major trophy, and it's about time. It's about time. We hear all the stories.
Seen a final, seen us lose a final.
Yep, absolutely. We all have as well. It's been a disappointing
was
one.
There. But it's like,
Yep. Gutting.
That was what 15, 16 years ago now.
Yeah, don't mate, don't. But listen, one man I was really, really impressed with today. And I think rightly so was, please, I've got an image of him. Oh, I thought I had an image of him. I think I do. He's coming up. Here it is here. Vlasic. What do you think of him today?
I thought he had a very, very good game. Like, I think we've said for a while, wasn't it? Like, I think, was it a period in December where he was coming off the bench, and each time he come off the bench or started, and it was like that was his best performance. Then the next week, that was his best performance. And in fairness, I think Moyes said at the start of the season, didn't he? He done an interview. I can't remember if it was for a Premier League or a Premier League or a Europa League game, but I know we covered it. And in the presser, David Moyes said, like, oh, you know, some of the new guys that have come from Europe, I don't expect to see much of them in the first 6 months. They need time to adjust to get used to the league and the way we play and the intensity before we see anything. And lo and behold, 6 months later, he are going to be putting a man of the match performance today, Vlasic. I thought he was fantastic. You know, as I said, he's almost weird. He's almost like a right-footed Bowen. He doesn't have the step over flair of like a Ben Rama. But if you think of the way Bowen plays, Bowen gets up, gets back, tracks, and he makes those clever runs into space. He's good at carrying the ball, laying passes off, but running at players without the flair to go past them. He'll just run at them and go round them. And Vlasic is really growing into like the left-hand sided version of a Bowen. And you saw that again today. And like you said, I think they're both enjoying playing with a proper creative player in the middle. You know, Lanzini's come in and Ben Rama started thriving again, and Vlasic just started getting better. But even when Fornal's come in later in the game, he was still doing the same thing, and it allowed both Vlasic and Bowen to really excel as players. And I think it's still some way. He's still got to go some way to prove the money. But if you think how long Ben Rama and Fornal's got to get to where they are, potential was there, and it looks like it's only getting better for Vlasic.
Well, let's talk about the goal then in particular. Antonio gets the ball down the left flank. He looks like he's going to go on the attack, but he holds up play, kind of goes a bit static. I think you've got Vlasic, and I think you've got Bowen inside the box. Now, Antonio from absolutely nothing finds a really nice ball through to the edge of the box where Vlasic is standing, and he collects it, and he turns the defender like nothing else, and he drives into the box. And as he's driving into the box, and you can clearly see here from the image, you can see the Leeds player is pulling him down pretty much.
This is what I said to you at the start of the second half. And I was saying what I said to you at the start of the second half. I had noticed this, but at half time, I did have a quick look on my phone to Twitter, and there was a lot of people saying, how can they give the goal? Because the goal's very much offside. And then I saw a lot of counters. As you can see, first of all, he's got his leg across Vlasic without trying to play the ball. Like, he's impeding him. And also, if you pay attention, he's actually pulling the back of his shirt as well.
Yeah.
You see, on the left-hand side, he's got a hold of his shirt. He's pulling his shirt back from that side. He's put a leg across him from the front side. So if the goal wasn't given, they'd probably have to give a penalty, because he's impeded his ability to take the shot.
Yeah.
But it was, as you said, it was brilliant play. He's spun him on the edge of the box, and he's got into a shooting position. And obviously, the bit that doesn't do justice on that is that he gets taken down, misses the ball, but then he also gets up and has the second attempt, almost laying on the floor, and that's the bit that then creates the goal. But he's very astute at finding space and turning and drawing fouls. Vlasic. He drew a lot of fouls today, where if it had been like an Antonio, you probably wouldn't be given the foul. Like, I don't know if that's like the European in him. Like, he just knows like when there's contact, when to go down. But that position, for me, it did look like, which I didn't know in real time. I did say and questioned where it's onside, but that position there, you'd think if they don't give the goal, surely they're going to have to give a penalty. But
at the end of the day, we did get the goal, and that's a positive thing. So we've gone 1-0 up, but you know, where was the game going at that point? Because it was kind of scrappy.
Nowhere, really. Yeah. Like if you go back to that first half, the only chance, and I'm not joking, the only chance I can remember for any team that had any real impetus or any real chance of going in was the Bowen shot. Similar position, similar angle. Bowen rolled the defender in the box, didn't he? And had a shot. It was inside the first 10 minutes, and Meslier was flat-footed, and it was going in the bottom corner, very much like the goal we scored against Tottenham.
Yeah,
it was very similar in that way, and Dallas cleared it off the line. And apart from that, I said to you, this game's like, I said, it's not an FA Cup game. This isn't end-to-end chances galore. This was like two Premier League teams playing a Premier League game where let's feel our way into the game. Let's not make a mistake. Let's not give everything away. And it was almost like, I don't want to say against the run of players in like we didn't deserve a goal, but it was almost like against the way the game was played as a whole that we got that chance and scored. Because it didn't really look like either team was creating a clear-cut chance to score at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. People are taking a mick here of Yarmolenko, but Scott R saying Vlasic played well, but Areola absolutely needs to start Areola over Johnston and Fabianski. What do you think of that one, Matt?
I thought he didn't have many saves to make. I don't think he did, actually. I think every time Leeds got in when they had a chance, I don't think they ever hit the target. I think all their chances went wide. But it was his commanding ability coming off the line, which is the thing that I think a lot of West Ham fans were like, especially tonight, they were like, that's the thing. That's the one thing that lets Fabianski down. Now, maybe that's because he is a bit older and he's not as quick as he was and he doesn't want to get caught out. Because the last thing you want to do as a goalkeeper is do what Roberto done all them couple of years back against Newcastle, when he come out for that punch and he missed it and the defender just headed it up and over and in the back of the net. But that's what we've been crying out for. And in recent games, that's where you can relieve the pressure on the defence. And quite a few times during the course of the game, Areola was either calling defenders to leave balls or he was coming out and claiming. And like you say, you could argue that like his ability to do that is what started the counter-attack for the second goal. Because he had that calming effect on the defenders and that ability to come out off the line and claim crosses and corners. You know, stuff beyond the 6-yard box, not just even in it. Because even recently, if we go back to the Watford game, Josh King had a chance to score when it was 3-1, when he had a header 3 yards out. And you're thinking, he's got a header 3 yards out, and you should be coming to claim it. But that's the thing for me. That's what I would like to see him start, is that, as I said, Fabianski's been a fantastic servant. He's been our best goalkeeper for years. He's a fantastic shot stopper. But his thing with crossing, his style is starting to come in and let him down.
I mean,
I
loads of
think
people
he
in
had
the
a
chat
very good game of it.
Loads of people in the chat are completely agreeing with you. Hit the like button, like Levi Salo was saying. How great was that? London is claret and blue. Mark Thomas is saying, have we stopped promoting football prizes because Matt can't enter anymore? No, we've not. Just over the Christmas period, it's been a little bit quieter, but they'll be coming back with a vengeance with some great prizes. Don't you worry. Yarmo's best game of the season. Yarmo has a perfect game. The way he walked onto the pitch like a tired giraffe was breathtaking. Well done, Yarmolenko. Sharon, good to see you. Hope you're well. Love you, West Ham. Paul Evans says Areola quality keeper. Freno is saying, I think we all agree that Vlasic's form is going up after that goal. He is more confident on the ball. Yeah, do you think the same?
Well, I think he did make a comment himself, didn't he? But I think after the Watford game, made a comment about, it does take the pressure off him because he's scored and he hasn't got to think about it. But the problem is that, we said that position he was in for that goal against Watford, he gets in on a regular occasion. Like when it's not on his side, when it's on the say Bowen side and the ball's being cut back, he quite often finds himself around the penalty spot for a cutback, but no one ever pulls it back. So maybe now it's just, and that may be because people aren't used to playing with him in the first team, like they're not used to being in that situation, because you learn how your teammates play. So the more he plays, the more times you're going to get to that byline and be like, all right, he's going to be there, I'll cut it back. And eventually, like a Bowen or a Soufal or whatever, won't have to think about it. They'll just know, I can whip it in or I can cut it back and Vlasic will be there. And it just helps build confidence, understanding with your teammates. Well, I said, we see the potential's there.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, though. You're starting to see that confidence breeding through into some, not all, but some of these players in particular. The one we're kind of most caring about is the £30 million Vlasic, because today, I'm not trying to get carried away, but I think I'm basing it upon the fact that what he's been doing as of late in a West Ham shirt has been great, and something like that goal, the goal that he scored was always going to be a momentous moment for him, because he's got on a score sheet and it's going to boost his confidence. And the fact of the matter was, before he was playing games, he was actually speaking out saying, I love being at this club, I've not got any issues, of course I want to play, but I'm going to trust in what the the manager's doing, and that's exactly what you want to hear. 100%. Loads of comments. I'm going to jump through some of the comments as well. Would love to see Okaflex get a chance. But I think now what we're actually seeing now is David Moyes is going to be treating most of the cup competitions as serious as he can, and he's going to breed in these young players. But he's obviously bringing these young players in to get used to being in and around the first team squad. But I mean, we really can't go wrong with what Moyes is doing right now. You know, we're sitting in the 9th of January. We got to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. We're now into the 4th round of the FA Cup. We're in the last 16 of Europa League, and we're sitting in 5th position in the Premier League. So, you know, sometimes we sit here and say, oh, we know best, but in actual fact, we don't. You know, I heard a funny comment about people constantly going on about saying we need an out-and-out striker. We've not replaced Sebastian Haller since he left. But the funny thing is, we've scored more goals in the calendar year since Haller left than we had when we had Haller in our ranks. But you know, I get the sentiment from it. Graham Lindsay's in the house, not great, but we're in the draw, absolutely. Narki Vlasic was awesome. I think him and Fornals are a lot alike. At the end of the day, Moyes was correct, and all he does is win. Frank Butcher looks happy. Danny Dyer got his roast table at home. Well, let's talk about Jared Bowen, mate. I mean, I'm going to bring up some stats going along the bottom. Jared Bowen's game by numbers versus Leeds: 47 touches, 12 duels contested, 10 duels won, 4 shots, 4 crosses, 4 tackles, 3 shots on target, 3 fouls won, 2 chances created, 2 take-ons, and 1 goal. How lucky are we to have this man in our ranks again?
He is one, and I think Moyes is hoping more of them do it. And maybe that's why more teams should look at the Championship, because the guy's just gone from strength to strength, hasn't he? He continually just gets better, and the bits of the game that he needs to. Every time someone says, "Oh, you know, he needs to start doing this more. He needs to do this more."
Yes, we are.
It's almost like he hears it, and like 3 or 4 games later, you'll see that he's starting to develop and pull that bit into his game. You know, he still has the work ethic. He still has the ability to get up and down, nick balls. He carries the ball better. He's making better passing decisions. And then, like, you see that goal at the end. And I'll be fair, it wasn't exactly a great ball from Antonio. He played it really wide. Bowen had to use his pace to get round. Meslier thought he was going to get there first, then realised he's not. Spread himself, and Bowen didn't panic and just slotted it underneath him into the bottom corner.
Yep. But I'm sorry, some of these comments are hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But at the end of the day, though, mate, I mean, he was causing them problems. I mean, most of the games we see Jared Bowen this year, and David Moyes has said it, he's got a tank. His engine is just mental. He's probably one of the only players who could play a game every single bloody day rather than 3 games a week. He's obviously got that engine in him, and he skips by players with ease, doesn't he? And I mean, he probably could have had another goal as well, because at one point in the second half, Ryan Fredericks does really well. He travels down the right-hand side, and he just doesn't look up. But if he looks up, he could have squared the ball to not just Jared Bowen, but to Declan Rice, who were completely unmarked. I think Declan Rice was a little bit further in inside, the goal side of 18-yard box, and Jared Bowen was on the edge of the 18-yard box. And if Fredericks had just squared it to them, you'd have no doubt that one or the other would fall into the back of the net, wouldn't you?
That was like one of the most frustrating things I think we both saw from the whole game.
Yeah,
was that he got there, Fredericks he done well to intercept it, released it back to the byline, and we both said he went to the byline. He was about 4 or 5 yards out, but he could have cut it back to about 8 yards to like the penalty spot to Bowen, or he could have cut it back to the edge of the box to Rice, and he shot, didn't he? And you're both like, that's why you're not starting Fredericks, because you've done the hard bit and you've got to the easy bit. And then you've fluffed your lines, and you think Bowen. I'd love to see Bowen in that position, because you'd have backed him in the form he's in at the moment to bury it.
I've got some comments I want to bring up for you. I've starred them actually. I love this new feature. And Neil says, "What do you think of Areola's distribution today?"
What I would say is that his ability, he could kick it a lot further than Fabianski. You know, we saw it especially at the end of the second half. There was one that ended up going right down near the corner flag, and it went probably 15, 20 yards inside the Leeds half for Antonio to compete for a header. Look, it's hard for a goalkeeper, because then the goalkeepers never have 100% accuracy unless you're playing for like Edison at Man City, where basically all their balls are played out along the floor. But what I would say is that he was playing balls in the right direction. So, like, you know, when we're setting up from goal kicks, you had Antonio and Souček set up, and he was playing it towards them. and they were reaching where they were. Whether they won the ball or not was a different thing. But
Yeah.
his pass is accurate, and he's got a lot bigger distance. And I mean, we spoke about this probably about 2 years ago, a year ago. We said about Fabianski, and he had that injury kicking a ball, and after that, his kicking just never seems to have been the same. It's like he goes within himself and his kicking. He doesn't want to risk getting injured.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree with this comment then from Howard? It's time to rotate the keepers for the second half of the season.
I would say so. I would say it's time to swap them around.
Yeah.
I'd say play Areola in the league and Fabianski in the cup. But this is Moyes.
Do you agree with Ross's comment? Not to sound too negative, but I personally wasn't thrilled with today's performance. It's Leeds after all. I think I get what you're saying, but it is the FA Cup, Ross, and I get that people will say, well, they were an injury-prone team, but, you know, I said this yesterday, at the end of the day, that, you know, when first-team players can't play, it's an opportunity for anyone else in the background, the squad, to come in and take that opportunity. And we've had that this season when it was Ben Johnson coming in for Vladimir Coufal, and he absolutely took his opportunity. And then Coufal had to work extra hard to get back into the team. And fortunately for Coufal, there was another injury that put Johnson out onto the left that allowed Coufal to come back into the team. So I always think that that's a kind of common situation really to happen. But, you know, yes, on paper, we should have beat them and probably beat them a little bit more comfortably, but we know that never happens. He's saying also if we didn't score that counter, it was a bog standard performance. Paul Evans is saying Areola to start. Areola has very good distribution. And I think that's the key part that you're saying, mate. You're saying that his distribution is the key for what West Ham need to achieve in order to move forward. Because it's not that Fabianski's goal-stopping opportunities are the problem. Neither is Areola's. It's the commanding element of inside the box. But can you see him? Can you see him making that decision?
At the moment, no. I don't think Moyes will. I think Moyes is loyal to players that perform well. And I guess in his eyes, he's like, you know what, he hasn't made a mistake. As I said, I think Fabianski's probably thinking, I'm not as quick and agile as I was. So if I come out to claim a ball and I don't get there, then it's a goal. If I stay on my line, the defenders have got a chance to compete, and then I've got potential to save it as well. So, like, Fabianski's playing by numbers. He's playing a safety bet. You know, he's playing the safe bet of percentages. I've got a better percentage if I stay on my line. However, it doesn't help the team. Like I said, you see that perfect example is that second goal today. We said it's Leeds corner. Leeds got the keeper up. Ball's whipped in. Fabianski comes out. Areola comes out through massive. It was almost like 18 bodies in that box. Punches it clear. Think gets recycled again, cleared again. Comes out to Fornals, and he just turns and whips it, and then West Ham on the counter.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't originally come out and do something, like I said, he hasn't claimed it. He's just dealt with it. He's come out and punched it, and it went about 40 yards. And that just gave everyone time to reset and go again. And you think back to goals we've conceded this season where he should have come and dealt with it. Like the one that always still sticks in my mind is the second goal against Brentford. When he should have come and dealt with it, he left it, and the clearance only went a couple of yards, and then they've smashed it in. Most recently, I keep talking about it wasn't a goal, but it should have been a goal against Watford, when it was a ball whipped in and it got headed up and out once, and someone's flicked it on. So it wasn't even like it was a cross. So it's hard. It's a flicked on header.
Yeah,
looped up, and he doesn't come and get it, and he gives Josh King a header from 3 yards.
Yeah,
and should have scored. And that wasn't even a difficult chance to come and get it.
Let me ask this question then. Scott is saying, is the reason Moyes doesn't start Areola in the Premier League due to a clause that we have to buy him, and he'd be our top wage earner then by a long amount? But I don't think that is
I don't think he'd be on that wages. I don't think he would be.
Yeah.
I don't think if they'd agreed a contract, they wouldn't agree a contract for that much in wages.
Yeah.
Like, I reckon he'd probably be on about 90 grand a week, 100 grand a week.
Absolutely. Adam Cook is saying through to the next round.
But we were talking. I remember talking to it. Might have been, you know what? It might have been when me and Stel done a watch along, and we were talking about. Or it might have been me and Russ, and we were talking about it. And I said, well, if we go back to last season, right? Was it 14 games Dawson had to play?
Yeah, something like that.
Areola's nearly there already.
Yeah,
he's played 6 games in the Europa League. was it 3 games in the Carabao Cup?
Mm-hmm.
Both the Man City, Man United,
Man City, Man United, and then Spurs.
That's 9 games. He's played today. That's 10 games. There's 2 more games, at least 2 more games left in the Europa League. That's 12 games. 4th round's coming up now, so that's 13 games. He's potentially only a 5th round away from us having to buy him anyway, so I can't see that being an issue.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if we get round to the 4th round and all of a sudden frigging Randolph's in goal, then you'll know they don't want to buy him.
And you know they won't. Scott is saying have to give Bielsa credit. They didn't sit back. Thoughts?
Well, this is what I said. That comment a little while back you were talking about, where we said we didn't have a very good game. It was a professional game, and we had to be professional because, look, I said at the start, no matter what players are available for Bielsa, they play the same way. They press high, they play open, they play good attacking football. And for large parts of the game, we had to play this like possession-based controlling game just to stop Leeds playing their game. And for large periods of the game, it worked.
Yeah.
It was only really, like we said, with injury time, maybe the last 10 minutes. So like the 80 to 85th minute onwards, when they'd made 5 subs, they basically had like 2 defenders on the pitch, a holding midfielder, and then like all attacking players. You know, they had like 6, 7 attacking players on the pitch. They started banging on the door, trying to get that goal. And that's when we had to stand up and be counted. But in some ways, the fact that we played the way we did benefited us not playing an FA Cup style game.
Yeah.
Because that would have been the game that Leeds wanted. They would have wanted wide open basketball end-to-end game.
Yeah.
Because that's how they play. Whereas
let me move on because we've got another show coming up in 15 minutes, so we want to try and get the review in a second because we're obviously into the 4th round of the FA Cup draw, so we're going to bring that to you live as well. Nick from Claret and Booze is on, and he says, "Afternoon, gents. Top performance from Antonio today. Heart was in my mouth when he went down. Vlasic was excellent as well, especially the dive." I know, but we listen, Nick. I mean, people in the chat. I mean, everyone's kind of buzzing about what Vlasic has been kind of offering as of late, and I'm buzzing for him. I'm buzzing for this West Ham team in general. It's fingers crossed. It's kind of for Vlasic. It's starting to kind of kick into gear a little bit. English Artie, French soccer sensibility stops him from being a consistent starter. He's not a bad full back, but you've got to pass the ball to Bowen or Declan, but he had to choose to shoot. Not good football for me. What do you reckon of Fredericks today? Briefly, mate.
Fredericks is Fredericks. So I don't want to say it in a nasty way because I rate him higher than Masuaku. But you know what? If he didn't have the pace that he had, he'd be nothing more than like a bang average championship fullback. Because his final ball often leaves wanting. You know, his sense in the attacking positions is left wanting. Defensively, he quite often doesn't see the problem when it's happening. But then he's so quick, like Kyle Walker. He's so quick that he can then get back and recover.
I think there was one occasion, wasn't there? Was it in the first half in particular? I think the ball was kind of nowhere near a West Ham player, and the ball had been fed through to the Leeds player, and Fredericks from literally nowhere got in front of the player. I think he kind of ran on and shot. He actually took a shot because of his pace. It was ridiculous.
Because he was full flood, wasn't he? He couldn't do anything else to stop. He just smashed it, and it was like 40 yards over the bar.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't penalise him for that one. I wouldn't, say, oh, that's wrong, because the speed he was going, he was never going to be able to take a touch or anything. It was just in his stride, hit it and go. But, what summed it up was that chance we were talking about where Leeds were playing out from the back and they tried to do a big switching ball from their right back to left back. Fredericks intercepts it, gets down. He said he gets to like 5-6 yards out. He said you've got Bowen on the near, like in line with the penalty spot in front of the near post, and then you've got Deck sitting literally slap bang middle of the goal on the edge of the box, and he could cut it back to either of them, and he shot from about 5 yards out, and he's way beyond the near post. It's a really tight angle. He shot, missed the far post, and then he's sitting on the floor throwing his arms up in the air like, what do you expect? But not once did he stop and get his head up and look.
No. I'm sorry. Some of these comments are actually bloody hilarious, and it's so true. I do not know how Bielsa does that squatting. He literally borderline
Oh God!
squats.
Bear in
for
mind,
about
he's in
90
his
minutes.
70s.
I have no idea how he
And
does
he's
it,
like,
mate. His legs must be
has he
just
got like?
absolutely
Has he
solid,
just had
mate.
like both his knees removed and got like
Yeah.
metal joints in his knees or something?
I have faith. Plus, the backroom staff is second to none. Paul Evans says Bielsa gets piles everywhere he goes. Yarmolenko Hammer of the Year is trending. Love it. That would be mental. When is Hammer going to Genoa? Oh my God, it's all about Yarmolenko in the chat. Adam Cook Dawson had a solid game for the money. A great bargain. You know what you get. Yeah, agree. 100%.
Yeah.
Fredericks had an amazing game. Sufal, watch your back. Mark Stratton is saying reports in France suggest PSG shortstopper earns between 120 to 160k per week with 700,000 euros per month. Converts to around 149k a week. I think that's in relation.
It doesn't make sense though, because you said you gave two different numbers, and there's a higher and a lower number. So what was the lower number? Was 120.
Yeah.
So that would convert to about 100.
Yeah.
Which is what I said. Probably what it'd be on.
I think the most impressive player the last 2 years has been Dawson. Never would have guessed he would start so many games. I don't think anyone did. But yeah, you're right. I think he has been. Absolutely.
He's just an old school. He's like another James Collins. He's just an old school centre back.
Yep. Proper
old school. Like you said, what you see is what you get. Right.
Hammerhead, Rice annoyed you a bit today. Tell me why. I mean, at the end of the day, I think I've seen some of his first half stats. I think he was literally 100% in pretty much most of his first half stats. The guy's ridiculous.
I saw a couple of people, and I think Luke put a comment in our chat about it as well. And I think he's talking about the free kicks, because there was that time. Well, there was that free kick in that position out wide, and it was just I don't know if he shot or if he's tried to cross it to the back post, but that went wide, miles over, and that came only a few minutes after he had an open play possession from the same position. And he'd done exactly the same thing. And you were like, oh, I think he's shot. And it's like, well, he ain't really going to score from that position.
Hammerhead is saying Vlasic.
I think that's what people were talking about. But apart from that, and maybe people might be bringing in the fact that we saw how effective Souček was when Noble played there, because Noble did literally just sit and let Souček go. But then you've seen the game today again, and I've seen people saying Souček was a bit quiet. He just got about his business and done what needs to be done. But yeah, he didn't have an effective game because Rice does like to get forward. But it's
Hammerhead is saying Vlasic is more effective than Benrahma at the moment at taking on players. Very brief, Matt. Come on. He is very confident taking on players just now because he is getting round to players.
He's, as I said, it's weird because, as I said to you, he doesn't have the flair, the step overs of a Benrahma, but we say about Bowen, and Bowen is very good at taking people on. Bowen's got quick feet. He can sidestep, hustle and bustle and just use his strength to get round. I said to you, that's the best compliment I can give right now, is that Vlasic is turning into another Bowen.
Yeah.
And if he gets anywhere near the ability of Bowen, then the 30 million will be an absolute steal.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Rice had a quiet game by his standards, but he's allowed a quiet game every now and then. Absolutely. But I just mean, I don't want people to start.
You know what? We won 2-0. And like I said, if Rice and Souček have both been going gun-ho all game, that would have then played into Leeds' hands. It was a very professional game management style from Moyes today to not go full-blooded gun-ho like an FA Cup style, because that is what Leeds wanted.
Yeah.
That's how Leeds play. That's how Bielsa plays. So the fact that we tried to play more compact and possession-based nullified them for large periods of the game.
Before you go, mate, I want to get your last final thoughts on this man, Lanzini. We were talking about it a little bit in the Matchday Live. I mean, literally, 18 months ago, you could have easily said that he was on the cusp of leaving the club, maybe even less than that.
6 months ago.
Yeah, 6 months ago.
In the summer. In the summer, everyone was like, he'll be one of the guys out the door. And in the last, we're going to go back to November? 2 months, 2.5 months. Moyes has reshaped him, rebuilt him, given him a new position, a new way of playing, and he's thriving on it. Yes, he's playing in at number 10, but he's actually dropping, rather than, as I said to you in the Matchday Live, rather than being the number 10 he was when we had Arnautovic under Moyes, and it was like a 5-3-2, and he was basically playing second centre forward. Now he's playing as like a deep line playmaker, but the thing that surprised me is the physical side of it. I don't know if the coaches or the fitness staff or whoever's been working on him, but his ability to win the ball back now, like, I remember when Lanzini first came in, the first thing he'd always say is that if someone barged into him, he went flying. Like, he had no upper body strength. He'd just get knocked off the ball. Whereas Lanzini's now come back in his team. He's doing it to other players. He's knocking other players off the ball. Knocking off the ball, winning the ball back. But then he's the guy in the middle that's got that passing ability to know where to play the ball and pick out the right passes.
Yeah.
And it's starting to click. And like you said last month, Benrahma plays better when he plays. And when Lanzini got back in the team, Lanzini got going. And then Benrahma started playing well. And you see today now, like, Vlasic is playing off him.
Look at his numbers here. Matt, look at his numbers here by his first half numbers versus Leeds. This is his first half. 100% take-on success, 100% chance conversion, 90% pass accuracy, 38 touches, 4 drills, 1, 3 take-ons, 1 chance created, 1 shot, 1 goal. I mean, that's his first half. I don't have his full game's stats, but the guy has, you know what, as fans, some of us have ruled him out. Some of us have kept him on our radar. I've always said that I don't know if my love for Lanzini came from what he always used to do for West Ham. And I kind of tend to fall in love with West Ham players, so I give them the benefit of the doubt sometimes rather than think, well, their career's just gone up the pan. But always felt like it was going to take for some creative players to be in and around him for him to find his full thing here. I'm not going to get carried away with it, but we can't help and deny that he's become a pivotal part as to our new attack. He's looking really good, mate. And today, his track and back ability was fantastic. He got stuck in. He wasn't scared to get stuck in at the tackles. He drops deep. He penetrates passes from far away. I mean, the guy's found his form again, and it's great to see.
It's fantastic for both the club and for him. Like I said, we all thought he might have been the ones. I'll put me up there. I was one of the ones that thought he'd be sold in summer. I thought he was gone. I thought that injury when he got called up for Argentina ruined him. He wasn't the same, didn't have the same ability to get up and down the pitch. The fitness was gone. He couldn't hack it. And we're seeing him play 70, 80, 90 minutes every game now. And like you said, it's the physicality as well. He's now the one bullying other players, winning the ball back. And he's added that to a game of already having the technical ability. It's like, it's a bit like he's like another Fornals in a way that the Fornals plays. And Lanzini's almost like been moulded into that sort of thing. And him dropping deep, letting the 3 guys in front of him play, it's almost like, it's a 4-2-3-1, but the way Lanzini plays when he plays it's like a 4-3-3. Lets the other 2 guys bomb on forward and he drops back and dictates and picks passes. And he's rejuvenated his career, found a new way of playing, a new way to make himself fit.
This is a good comment. Lanzini is like a new signing, plays with passion, and he does. And the thing is, what's good about Lanzini is he completely knows West Ham inside and out because he's been with us for many a year. Anyway,
7 years?
Yes, it's a long time. This is the link because we're going live again in 5 minutes. So go and click that link. We're going live for the FA Cup 4th round draw. So I wonder who West Ham will get. I'm just actually wanting to see what number we are in the draw. This is if you just give me a second. I will get everyone to see what we are, but I can't find it. So anyway, go and click that link now and we'll go across there and we'll be live in literally a couple of minutes' time. Thank you for watching the review. He's been Matt. This has been Anton. West Ham are through at the 4th round. Click that link. We're going live in literally 3 minutes' time. We'll give you all of the 4th round draw and we'll see you then. Come on, you Irons.